Yeah, it's pretty good.
Look, I'm a man of simple taste. I see the letters C, T, and R arranged in that respective order, and I'm a very happy boy. Could stand for crusty tit rash for all I care. I'm already a full mast here. You all know how I feel about the original CTR. It's my favourite kart racer of all time, one of my favourite PS1 games of all time, and just one of my favourite games period. The smooth as buttery arse cheeks controls and mechanics, the exquisite track design, and great use of the Crash license. It was in my eyes near perfection for a game of its ilk. So you can of course only imagine how much I squeed when December 6th rolled around. At the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley was joined on stage by a man in a crash suit who looked like he was seriously questioning his life decisions. And there it was announced, a full-on remake of CTR, but oh, if we only knew. Over the course of the next 6 months, it became apparent that this wasn't just a simple remake of CTR in the way that the Insane trilogy was of the original 3 Crash titles. It was subtitled Nitro Fueled for a reason. What, do you think it was after these things?
Wrong!
No, instead it referred to the content of CTR's pseudo-sequel Nitro Kart. We were going to receive every track, battle arena, and character from that game, but instead with the mechanics that CTR was known for. Oh, but it didn't stop there. Online multiplayer, a huge range of customization options with different kart bodies from Nitro Kart and even tag team racing. But also different wheels, paint jobs, decals, stickers, and a slew of skins for each character. And then, just before the release, the reveal of future DLC in the form of seasonal timed events, bringing even more new characters, tracks, and customization options. Holy fucking bandicunts! Take my money, everything. Take my wife, please. I don't have a wife, but you can have her. This was fucking nuts. It was like a dream come true, but of course, even with all of this, there was still some concern. Mainly, were they going to be able to recapture what, at least in my opinion, made CTR so good while also implementing all this new stuff as well?
Well, what do you think I'm going to say?
Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled retains the core of what CTR did so well, and incorporates all of the additional content seamlessly to create an incredible full package that I can firmly say is one of my favourite games ever. Now that's all very well and good just saying that, but of course I need to say why. Why does it do what it does so well? Now keep in mind, we'll be treading a lot of old ground covered in my initial video of the original CTR. So I'm gonna talk about Nitro Fueled assuming that most of you have at least played or have a good understanding of the original. I left a bit of time since the release to make this video, seeing as how important the 1999 CTR was to me. I wanted to let the remake sink in so I could really get as familiar as I could with it. In the first 2 to 3 weeks, I've gone through the adventure mode to 101% completion, got every platinum relic, have mercy on my soul, and beaten every end trophy and nitrous oxide ghost time. My palms have been whittled down to a sagging, messy shell of their former selves. So yeah, I'm pretty well acquainted with this game at this point. As well as that, I've also had plenty of time in the online multiplayer, and of course have just recently been experiencing the first Grand Prix event. So I feel I've spent more than enough time jacking off to this game to give my full thoughts. I feel first and foremost I should see how it stacks up as a remake of CTR, not taking into account the additional content. Just how does it fare at recreating that winning formula that makes me shit myself in delight? The control mechanics, not to sound like a broken record at this point, but they really were what made CTR so fun and addicting to play. It was probably my biggest concern going into Nitro Fueled, since it was such an integral part to the game's enjoyment, it could have been a make or break. Thankfully, they didn't fix what wasn't broken. The controls, God bless us all, for the most part, are identical. The smooth drifting and satisfying boosting, the weight of the carts and chaining moves together for that fluent, speedy feel is still very much here. I actually think it feels faster than the original, to be honest. The reserve system is all intact with more clear visual indicators like the colour of your kart flames. The blue fire is fucking insane and maintaining that shit feels so damn good. You even have a bit more control of your kart in mid-air by being able to brake turn while suspended. And it's not only insanely useful for tight corners, but also for maintaining high speed around said tight corners. Now, I say it's identical for the most part, mainly because there's only a very slight difference in the turning and jumping, at least from my experience. The jumping feels just a tiny bit more heavy, and turning seems to be a lot more tighter and responsive. Both of these things though are not hindrances in the slightest, and they are almost unnoticeable when you are used to the controls. And yeah, there was a brief adjustment period when I started playing, but I quickly melded back into my muscle memory. And I am just genuinely shocked at how well they have recreated the control mechanics, and it once again makes it such an incredibly addicting joy to play. And yeah, the deeper control scheme means that it's not the most accessible kart racer, unlike Mario Kart, but I just feel it's more satisfying and rewarding to practice and get better at. They even have a couple more ways to help players with the slide boosting, with more clear gauge meters, and even a feature called Nitro Wheels that makes the tyres glow when the perfect time to boost arises. Simply put, it controls like a wet dream and ensures that the core gameplay is as good as it always was. Now the visuals though,
Holy shit!
fuck me sideways, this game is gorgeous. The original CTR, while still looking good for its time, did clearly sacrifice the detail of the platformers to ensure a smoother gameplay experience, and understandably so. But this is PS4, goddammit, at long last we can see every wrinkle on Crash's fuzzy nutsack. I mean, shit, it speaks for itself, it looks so good. It keeps the same visual style as the Insane trilogy, but in terms of the level of detail here, I think it's actually a step up. It's clear Beenox took a lot more creative liberties here and really pushed for a variety of creative visual twists on the themes of the tracks. The attention to detail here though is the most fascinating thing. Not only in the level decor, but also the animations, particle effects, and character models. There are so many hidden details and visual gags within all of these tracks that they are easy to miss. And while not really serving much purpose to the gameplay, they act as another enjoyable addition to giving each track more life. Every character has unique animations for when they boost, jump, and drift. Each kart type has its own little subtleties. It's just all these minuscule details that really go a long way into giving the game so much charm. And it really shows the dedication that Beenox had when giving CTR the visual upgrade it deserved. On Papu's Pyramid, there is a fly trap teaching a lesson on how to eat races to baby fly traps. That's so charming, I'm gonna die. And the sound design, once again, something that I wasn't sure about based on the footage we saw leading up to release, but once the final product came along, it won me over. Each kart body having its own unique engine sound, the impact of the karts and the weapons, and the great voice cast bringing all these characters to life again so faithfully. Except for Uka Uka though.
The dots and stars on the map represent warp pads, which lead to races.
420 really does take its toll on you. The soundtrack, again, sounds brilliant. Now, like the Insane trilogy, there are one or two tracks that feel a little bit dumbed down or just off. But for the most part, it's all the familiar tracks that you know and love with punchier and clearer compositions. Even the soundtrack has little details present here, with the awesome touch of each of the boss race themes having a unique twist to suit the respective boss. I expected nothing less from having Joshua Mansell himself on board as a consultant, and having the option for the original soundtrack is just a nice cherry on top. On top of all of this, all the game modes you remember are back and as good as they always were. The adventure mode is still as fun as hell, with the great addition of more fleshed out cutscenes for the bosses both before and after their races. I love it, they just add more charm, more character, it's awesome. Ripperoo is an absolute masochist and Papu Papu is just more fat jokes.
Maybe Papu not eating a big breakfast.
Comedy.
The tricky time trial mode is back, and I would argue a bit more challenging this time around. Entropy's AI is a bit more clever and will actually take shortcuts this time. It is still a bit annoying though that you have to unlock his ghost before racing it. For the most part, I actually ended up beating his and Oxide's times when unlocking his ghost, so why not just let us select it from the start? It just makes it more tedious, especially now that all the Nitro Kart tracks have to be done as well. Speaking of which, yeah, this game is worthless now. Bye-bye, bitch. Yay! If you watch my video on Nitro Kart, you'll know that while I think the game is good, it's massively held back by its mechanics that feel like someone tried to break CTR's mechanics and put them back together again with a Pritt stick. And it was a shame because I felt the tracks from Nitro Kart were just as good as CTR's, and here in Nitro Fueled, they are given the treatment they rightfully deserve. Just, my god, the Nitro tracks are so much better in this game. The visual overhaul is incredible, and the way they have adjusted the tracks to replace anti-grav sections, fantastic. It improves the flow of the tracks so much more, especially in levels like Thunderstruck and the Hyperspaceway. Yet it still maintains the uniqueness of these tracks with their theming and the switch crates which activate or alter track hazards. I mean, it's just great to be able to play these awesome tracks with the CTR mechanics, really allowing us to appreciate their full potential all without that CNK clunk. It's also just great to have all the CNK characters here as well, especially with the bosses, considering they weren't playable in the original. And just in case any of you are wondering, my main is Entrance. Because he looks like a dildo. Now, while all the CTR characters are unlocked via their normal means, hell, even Penta Penguin is still unlocked via a cheat code.
Yay, Penguin, I won!
That's fucking cool. The rest are all unlocked in the pit stop and in-game store, along with all the customization features. And damn, I never realized how fun the customization would be until I actually played the game. All the different carts, wheels, decals, and paint jobs, I had a surprising amount of fun just decking out my car and seeing the unique charm each skin has. But not Golfer Norm though. That shit will haunt my nightmares. It just allows you to make your character your own, and it's certainly a welcome feature. But how do you purchase these items in the pit stop? Well, Nitro Fueled has an in-game currency called Wumper Coins. And no, it involves no microtransactions at all, even though it may seem like it. You earn these by simply playing, and the amount you get is determined on a number of factors: which track you race on, what position you come in, and whether you're playing online or not. Now, the system is not perfect. The earn rates are not that good offline, which sucks, especially for people who exclusively play offline. And the way the store works isn't ideal either, as it functions on a rotary system, so if you want a specific item, you either have to wait for it to appear or keep buying things in hope that it eventually shows up. But hey, it's still nice that it's not currently tied down to microtransactions, at least as of now. And hey, I'll appreciate it, because that's a rare thing in games nowadays, and here's hoping they keep it this way. Now, I mentioned just a moment ago, of course, perhaps one of the biggest additions to Nitro Fueled: online multiplayer, and oh shit, this is so much fun. Nitro Fueled's online experience is the exact same as it normally is in single player, except this time with a heaping load of this. Playing CTR with other real players is such an exhilarating experience, and it really separates the casual from the experienced. As I've said in the past, CTR is an easy game to learn but a hard one to master. When put in a match with experienced players, it makes for some of the most intense and chaotic online experiences I have ever played. At times, it can just be complete insanity, and in a game like this, that's certainly a good thing. I only wish that there were more options just outside of the single races and battles. Like, why not cup tournaments or team races like in Mario Kart? There's just so much potential for Beenox to capitalize on here, and I hope they do, because it's by far the best addition to the game. But can we please stop voting for Ruse Tubes all the damn time? Thank you. Now, all of this makes Nitro Fueled all seem absolutely fantastic, and it is. But like most things, it's not exempt from a couple of small loose niggles here and there. Even though I cite the original as perfect, I'll even admit that it still has some minor hiccups. However, all of the things that I have nitpicks with in Nitro Fueled are all things that can be fixed. As I mentioned, the Wumper Coin system, at least offline, and the store aren't ideal, and online multiplayer can be a bit rough at times with its connectivity. But the main gameplay does have a couple of issues as well. Firstly, the weapon distribution and balancing is a bloody mess. Like, the sheer fucking amount of clocks and warp orbs you'll encounter in online is just stupid. And players in first place receiving masks? Just no. Another fairly prominent issue in the game in some areas is the buggery collision detection. It's really evident on tracks like Sewer Speedway and Dragon Mines, though I have experienced it on occasion on some other tracks. Albeit it's only occasional and not a frequent problem. Not to mention there are of course some miscellaneous bugs and glitches dotted around the game, although they have led to some horrifically brilliant masterpieces such as these. Now that one's going in the wank bank. But these are all things that Beenox can resolve over time, and I really hope they do. Because after playing this game for a solid month now, I can confidently say that it is not only my favourite kart racer of all time, but now one of my favourite games ever made. It replicates everything the original did so well and brings together all the additional features like the Nitro Kart content, customization, and online multiplayer brilliantly into one complete package that I think makes it the definitive way to experience Crash Team Racing. racing. Beenox have done one of my most treasured games so much justice, and have not only met my expectations with this remake, but exceeded them. And hey, there's still plenty for the game to offer us. We're just coming to the end of the first Grand Prix event, with so much cool content like the new karts, Torna and the Trophy Girls as playable characters, and an absolute banger of a track in Twilight Tour. And if this is any indication as to how the future Grand Prix will play out, I'm fucking stoked.
I am over the moon with how this remake turned out, and I'm sure, much like the original, I will be playing it for years to come. You know, after playing this for a solid month, I really should do something else. I've not seen any natural sunlight in weeks. This is fine.